Hi, I'm Towin, and today I'll be trying to beat Pokemon Y2 Challenge Mode with only Ducklett. I won't sugarcoat it, Ducklett is not a good Pokemon. It's supposed to be a defensive mix attacker. However, having a 4 times weakness to electric is going to make almost, if not impossible, to beat this run. Still, having access to Roost and some good attacking moves should at least get me to Colress. The rules for the challenge are simple. I can only use Ducklett for combat. I'll have other Pokemons for HMs, but I won't be allowed to use them for battle. No items during battle, however, held items are okay. And finally, Evasion Boost, Focus Band, and the moves Return and Hidden Power are banned. With that out of the way, let's start the run! I start by using the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Tepig for Ducklett. That way my rival has Oshawott, probably the hardest to fight. I name him Rainbird. I know it sounds dumb, but it's inspired by a Native American legend. Look it up if you don't trust me. He has a docile nature, so neutral stats. I'm fine with it. As long as I don't get special attack or speed lowered, it doesn't bother me. He also has the ability Keen Eye. It's an ability that prevents opponents from lowering Ducklett's accuracy. It's not bad, but not that useful honestly. The early game goes like usual without any trouble. The only interesting thing is that Ducklett learns Wing Attack and Water Pulse. Strong stab moves for this point in the game that should prove to be helpful for the gym battle. And I was right. Thanks to getting good Confusion Lock on both Patrat and Lillipup with Water Pulse, I was able to easily defeat Cheren. It's been a long time since the first gym was beaten that fast. Going to Virbank City, I fight every trainer I encounter. Roxy has a lot of bulky Pokemon and likes to go for poison, so I know I'll need more power if I want to defeat her. I train to level 19 and get both Bubble Beam and Aerial Ace, but even with those, I wasn't able to win. I got really close to it thanks to an early crit on Coughing, but Whirlipede was just too much for Ducklett at this level. I try again, this time at level 22, and this fight was crazy. First is Coughing, and Bubble Beam got him close to half as Assurance didn't do much. On the next attack, she lives on a sliver of HP and hits a crit Venoshock to get me to half thanks to my parry. Because of her low HP I KO her, but I'm in a dire situation. Grimer is second, and Bubble Beam did like a third while Venoshock got me to the yellow. Another Bubble Beam got him on range of being defeated by another one, but he used Disable, so I can't use that move anymore. Thankfully, Aerial Ace was able to KO on that range, so last is Whirlipede. Aerial Ace gets her to half, which would be good, if not for the fact that she hits her berry to heal and gets Ducklett to the red with Venoshock. I thought that I already lost the battle, but on a last-ditch effort, Ducklett manages to hit a crit, which was enough to defeat Roxy. After dealing with some Plasma Grunts and getting some Pokédex entries, I go to the top of Castelia City to get the Eviolite. With the Electric Gym coming up, this item is a must if I plan on defeating Elisa. Plus, it's going to be useful throughout the whole run. Puck Gym. On the first try, I get Dribble to Sturdy with Water Pulse as he sets up a Rock Polish. Next turn, he gets a 5-hit crit Rock Blast to OHKO Ducklett. Come on, man. Next try, it goes similar, but instead of defeating me, Dribble only manages to get me to half HP. So with one more Water Pulse, he goes down. Second is Blast, and thanks to the newly acquired Air Slash, he went down to 2 hits without even landing a hit. Third is the Slivani, and his Grass Whistle thankfully missed, so Air Slash was an OHKO. Last is Shelmet, and like with Blast, 2 Air Slashes were enough. Thank Arceus for the Eviolite. If I didn't have that, I would have needed to grind for the Puck Gym, and that's a flying type that would have been embarrassing. Not as easy was the first fight against Colress. I had to try multiple times because if I got paralyzed, I instantly lost. On this attempt, Water Pulse created Magnemite to get him to Sturdy while he used Spark to get me close to half. He healed the next turn, but 2 Bubble Beams were enough to finish him off. He sent out Clink and I got quite lucky, as Water Pulse confused him and he hit himself. That got him just in range to be defeated by another attack. I get to join Avenue, and here I can modify the EVs of Ducklett thanks to the Beauty Salon to lower them and the Dojo to increase them. Since I don't want to waste time on here, I just modify them on PK Heads, which does the same but without the time investment. Ducklett's speed is pretty decent for a first form Pokemon, so I make a gamble and give him only 160 EVs. As for offense, since he has better special attack, I decide to max it out. The rest I put them on HP since I feel like I'm going to need the bulk if I want to beat trainers like Elisa, Colress, Getsis, and the champion Iris. Now, usually this is the part where I would tell you about how I got one-shot by Elisa and that I need to get a few levels. But no, it's even worse because I can't even reach her. The first trainer inside the gym easily defeats me with her Elekid and Fluffy. So it looks like it's time to go fight the breeder in Lost Lawn Forest over and over and get more than a few levels. The grind isn't that bad thanks to the previously mentioned breeder, but while at it, Ducklett tried to learn Roost. On the Dojo run, it was way more useful than I expected, but that was mostly thanks to having a boosting move, so I don't know if it's going to be as good as it was there. Still, I replaced Feather Dance since I don't have a use for the move and recovery sounds more appealing. I get to level 35 and now I can defeat the trainers. The bad news is that Elisa's Emolga outspeeds and does way too much damage with Volt Switch, so unless I can one-shot her, I don't see myself winning anytime soon. I go back to fight against the breeder and at level 37, Ducklett tries to learn Tailwind. It's like Reflect, but instead of increasing defense, it increases speed for 4 turns. I end up replacing Bubble Beam in case that speed is still an issue against Emolga. Also, I find more valuable Water Pulse's chance of confusion than the extra bit of damage from Bubble Beam. Level 40. Okay, you need to see this attempt. I start by confusing Emolga with Water Pulse, but she manages to hit a Volt Switch to get me below half. She goes into Fluffy and Water Pulse confuses her again, but this time she hits herself. She heals, but 2 more attacks defeat her. Emolga is out again and Water Pulse gets another confusion. Not only that, but she takes herself out. Joltik was after and I made the mistake of assuming that she had no more ways of paralyzing me, so I went for Roost. Obviously, she had Thunder Wave, so now Ducklett is paralyzed. She then attacked with Volt Switch to do more damage than what I healed, while I went for Tailwind hoping to gain the speed advantage. That didn't work and Zebstrika took me out. Safe to say that I threw that fight, but I still think that Zebstrika would have taken me out without me being paralyzed. Back to training. The grind is getting pretty slow at this point. I could fight against Audinos, but fighting the breeder is more consistent and requires less attention. There's also no new useful moves that could help me for this fight, since even though I still have Hurricane to learn, it's a flying move, so it's not very effective against Electric. At this point, I'm just waiting to get strong enough so that I can move on with the run. Level 45. I tried for hours for the stars to align and not have Fluffy paralyze me, only to realize that Joltik is not an OHKO, so he can use Thunder Wave and defeat me the next turn. I've spent enough time complaining about the grind, so I won't talk about it anymore. The only thing is that I replaced Earth Slash for Hurricane. I might regret this decision later since it only has 70 accuracy, but the added power can prove useful. Also, the animation looks cool. I mean, do you see this? Finally, at level 50, I got a run where I got lucky enough to defeat Fluffy without me getting paralyzed, and Joltik was a one-shot. Last was Zebstrika and Water Pulse did over half to her while she used Volt Switch, leaving with only 16 HP. Thankfully, she was in range, so with another attack, I can finally put an end to this horrible battle. Now, as you saw, the fight was just smashing the A button, so while doing that, I was watching videos and not paying much attention to the game. So it took me by surprise to suddenly see the screen showing the badge. Anyways, with the 4th gym defeated, I can start making some progress. First is the Heartbreaker Charles triple battle, but I'm almost double his level, so even when it was 3 against 1, it was no problem. Hey, maybe Clay will go the same. Wow, it was a complete sweep. Only Onitz managed to land a hit, and even though it was super effective, it did almost nothing. To be fair, it was an Onitz. Nice to have an easy battle for a change. Let's see if the second Colress fight goes the same. Also a complete sweep. To be fair, I'm double the level of his Pokemon, but it still feels nice to not get stuck on these battles. On the way to Mistradon City, I finally get access to the HM for Surf. I decide to replace Water Pulse since even though the confusion chance is nice, 60 base power against 95 is way too much of a difference, especially with Stab. Skyla fight. Both Zubat and Sigilyph were one-shots with Hurricane, so no problem there. Third is the Swanna. She hits Aerial Ace for a bit of damage and I miss Hurricane. She gets Ducklett to half as I manage to hit her, but it brings her to a sliver as her berry gets her out of healing range. A crit Aerial Ace gets me down to a 5th and I go for the safe KO with Surf. Lassie's Armory and Surf misses on the one-shot as she sets up an agility. She now outspeeds and brings Ducklett to only 9 HP, as Surf is thankfully enough to secure the victory. It was close, but mostly because of Hurricane missing. However, I think that this is going to be the last gym fight where I can brute force my way through it. I get to Lentima's town, and in here I can learn Icy Wind for the Dragon Gym thanks to the move tutor. But honestly, the damage it does is worse than Hurricane, even when taking into account the super effective damage. So I think I'll pass and just wait for Ice Beam in the future to teach Ducklett an Ice type move. In Ongella Town, there's the fight against Hugh, but thanks to Hurricane, it wasn't a problem at all. A funny thing that happened though is that his Samurott wasn't a one-shot, but it got confused and hit himself to take himself out. Not so funny was the fight against Raiden. First his Trotigon and Hurricane got him to half. However, he heals with his berry to get out of range and hits a Rock Slide to get Ducklett to a third. I risk it and go for another one and he gets confused. He hits himself and now he's on the red. We both heal the next turn, obviously I do it with Roost, so we're back to square one. Hurricane again gets him to half and he hits himself again. I don't want to waste more power points, so I go for Surf hoping for a KO, but I don't get it and he lands a Dragon Tail. Next turn, he goes down. Second is Flygon and Hurricane gets him below half while Dragon Tail does a bit. Since that's probably his best attack, I take the chance to heal while he attacks again with Dragon Tail. The turn after, he feints to a Surf. Third is Altaria and Hurricane does less than half while Dragon Pulse does decent damage. It looks like it was a roll however, since the next turn another attack was a KO. Last is the Ace Hatterus and this was a long fight. His best attack was Dragon Tail and it did like a third, so I had to heal every other turn while I used Hurricane. The thing is, Ducklett decided to start missing now that it was on the last Pokemon. He luckily got confused on one of my attacks and hit himself, giving me the chance to fully heal and safely defeat him. Now, I don't know why, but the Sinsoline battle was extremely annoying. Hurricane missing, hitting myself in confusion, getting frozen, critical hits. It was bad luck after bad luck. In fact, I tried this fight for an hour and I couldn't beat him, so I had to level up for me to win. And it still took me a lot of tries. I'm 100% going to need to get stronger for the Marlon fight. I grinded for a bit before challenging Marlon and tried a level 68. First is Wailord and Hurricane got him to the red and confused him. This is when he made a terrible mistake. He set up a rain dance. Why is it bad? Because not only does it boost my water moves, but it also makes Hurricane a 100% accurate move. Because of that, he went down easily. Second is Carracosta and Surf brought him to Sturdy as he sets up a Shell Smash. I'm still faster, so another Surf finished him off. The rain stops as Mantine comes out and Hurricane does exactly half while Earth Slash does nothing, so a second hit knocks him out. Last is the Ace Jellicent and now is when the battle turns in his favor. I managed to land a Hurricane, but it activates his ability Curse Body, temporarily disabling my move. Not only that, but he attacks with Shadow Ball and gets the special defense drop. I tried going for Surf and a crit got him to a third, but Shadow Ball is now doing way too much damage. So I need to change strategy. I start spamming Roost while he attacks, hoping for Hurricane to be available again, since I know that if I go for another Surf, it's not going to be enough and he'll defeat me. Eventually the Curse Body stops and I thankfully land Hurricane for the knockout. The grind, by the way, definitely mattered. With all the badges acquired, it's time for the last confrontation against Team Plasma. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not looking forward to this. If I had to grind so much for Elisa, I can't imagine how I'm going to beat Colress. Especially when he has two Pokemon with Sturdy, Thunder Wave and Electric type attacks. I don't think even level 100 is going to be enough. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's still some stuff to do before that. So let's go quickly over them. First is the Sinsoline double battle. Thanks to both of the opponents targeting Hugh instead of Ducklett, it was a pretty easy fight. Second is the TM for Ice Beam. I replaced Tailwind, but besides some Plasma Grunts, I'm not going to use it that much in the near future. Third is the single battle against Sinsoline. I won on my first attempt, but it was mostly because of good luck and me being faster than Weavile. Okay, now that I'm done with all of that, let's play a game called Guess What Level I'll Have to be to beat Colress. My guess is that I won't, but who knows. First try at level 72. I did have to Magneton with Surf and he paralyzed me with Thunder Wave. He then used Volt Switch to get me all the way from full HP to 13 HP. He switched into Klinklang, who went a bit below half HP from Surf. He then obviously finished me off. Level 77. Klinklang gets now on healing range, but Thunderbolt is still a one-shot on me after a Volt Switch. Level 82. Got him to the red, but still no KO. However, this is when I realized something. What if I use Water Pulse to confuse both Magneton and Magneson, and then KO them with Surf? I would still need to OHKO Klinklang since it has Thunderbolt, but it might work after a few levels. Level 87. I replaced Ice Beam with Water Pulse and the stars finally aligned. First is Magneton and I confused him with Water Pulse. He hit himself, so a Surf defeats him. Second is Klinklang and Surf is just shy from an OHKO while he used Thunderbolt to get me close to half. We both healed in its turn, since I'll need as much HP as possible, and another Surf KO'd him since it was a range. Third is Magneson and I don't get the same luck I did with Magneton and get paralyzed. The turn after, I get hit by a massive discharge and knock him out with Surf. Fourth is Metang and he luckily misses Rock Slide while I take the chance to heal again with Roost. Rock Slide then crits to bring me to half as Surf gets him close to 1 HP. He hits again to get me to the yellow and Surf defeats him. Last is PHM and he sets up a Coal Mine while Surf does half. I then almost threw the fight by healing, since it was already in range of a KO, and if I got fully paralyzed I would have been done anyway. I wasn't punished however and his Psychic just got me to the red. Next turn he hits another Psychic, that drops my special defense by the way, and a final Surf finished the fight. I got so lucky during that battle. If I got fully paralyzed even once, I would have lost. Thank God I remember the confusion effect of Water Pulse, because I don't think I would have defeated Colress otherwise. Now, like all of the runs where I level up a ton for Colress, the Get His fight was really easy. Now to be fair, I lost the first couple of times, but it was only because I missed with Hurricane while Cofagrigus landed a Toxic. But with Ducklett landing its hits, it was no problem. The rival fight was also no problem, but I think you were already expecting that. Before the league, let's look at Ducklett's stats. I didn't think at the start of the run that I was going to get to this point, but now that we're here, Ducklett might actually have a chance of beating the game. The final moveset is Surf, Ice Beam, Roost, and Hurricane. Let's see if I can beat the league. First is fighting trainer Marshall. Thanks to Hurricane not missing, it was a complete sweep. I still had to take it slow for Sock and Lucario using Surf instead, but they didn't do much, so it was no problem. Second is Ghost Trainer Chantal. The fight started somewhat badly, as Cofagrigus doesn't go down to Hurricane and lands a Shadow Ball to lower my special defense. She still doesn't do much as she heals the next turn and goes down to 2 Surfs. Drifloon goes down to a single Ice Beam and I use Banette as a chance to heal with Roost. Afterwards, she goes down to a Surf. Chandelure goes down to a Surf after doing half with Shadow Ball, and Golurk goes down to a single Surf. Third is Dark Trainer Grimsley, but like with Marshall, thanks to Hurricane not missing and being overall strong, it was an easy fight. Final member of the Elite Four is Caitlyn, and unfortunately, this is where the sweeps end. Musharna has Charge Beam for a super effective move and to boost her special attack. However, the real threat is Gothitelle, who survives a Hurricane and hits a powerful Thunderbolt that always KOs me. To be fair, the champion also has electric moves and some bulky Pokemon, so I think I would have needed to grind some more anyways. I came back at level 95 after collecting some rare candies, some PowerPoint ups, and some Elixirs. Now, I won this fight mostly because of a crit on Musharna, but the level still helped for the rest of her Pokemon. Last is the champion Iris. First is Ducklett against Hydreigon and Ice Beam is a one-shot. Second is Lapras and Hurricane gets her to a third. She lands a Thunder for massive damage, and because I don't know how the other Pokemons will go, I decide to heal with Roost while she uses Thunder again. I then go for Surf, but she had the ability Water Absorb, which healed her while she landed another Thunder to bring Ducklett to the red. We then go back and forth for a while I try to heal with Roost and she keeps landing inaccurate moves. She missed a Thunder for the first time in the fight while I defeated her with Hurricane. Afterwards is Drodigon, who went down to an Ice Beam, Aggron, who went down to a Surf, Archeops, who went down to a Surf, and Hatsurus, who went down to 2 ice beams because of her focus sash. And with that, the champion Iris was defeated, finishing the run. I said it before and I'll say it again. Thank God Ducklett learned Water Pulse, because if he didn't, I wouldn't have been able to defeat Colress for sure. Although, now that I think about it, if I used the Battle Subway, I'm pretty sure I could have gotten Swagger. I said that I would only use it if I had no other option, so maybe if I didn't remember, I would have done that. But if there's one thing that I can take out from this run, is that 4x weaknesses suck. Not as much as Whittle, but still suck a lot. Anyways, for next time, I'll try something a bit different, as I'll try to beat Pokemon Leaf Green with only first form Psychic types. I honestly have no idea how this run is gonna go. There's 4 first form Psychic types in the Kanto region, so at least the team is going to be diverse. But for anything else, I have no clue. Which is good, since going into a run completely blind makes it more exciting. Don't know if I'll keep saying that during the challenge. Also, I originally decided to start with Drowsy to make the start of the run faster, but then I had the great idea of asking you guys on the community tab if I should start with Abra or Drowsy, and you said that Abra was the better option. So, thanks. If you want to see more of my content, you can check my Shiny Professor Oak Challenge playlist, that's on screen. Or, if you want to see something more like what you just watched, you can check the Challenge Runs playlist, that's also on screen. Anyways, that's all I have for now. See ya!